So we are here today with an amazing dude that pretty much made Saturday morning special for all of us at a certain age, and we can't get enough of this person. He's amazing. He's great. He's a legend, not a myth. Sid the Man Krofft. How you doing, Sid?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing okay.
Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah, I just turned 94 years old, so
Wow.
that was a big one.
That's
Yeah,
yeah. I think anything after 90 is a big one.
yeah.
Well, congratulations. Happy birthday. What's your actual birthday?
July 30.
Okay, mine is August 5th. So are
Yeah.
you a Leo?
Oh, of course.
I'm a
Yeah.
Leo.
I'm
Oh,
a
that
I'm a triple Leo.
oh
Yeah,
yeah. So I think
yeah.
like that means something because I think Leos have imagination and you got to have imagination to do the kind of crazy stuff
And we
that
like everything to be neat, you know?
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
even though as you can see it gets a little messy around here. But
Yeah, but you know where
I know
everything.
where everything is.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've watched an episode, or we're in the middle of watching an episode of Land of the Lost from the first season. I got to tell you, as a kid, this was the show for me. There
Thank
was
you.
so much mystery and intrigue and just scariness. It was also just exciting adventure, I guess I'd say. How did this show come about?
Okay. As you know, our first show was the Banana Splits,
Yes.
and then Puff and Stuff, and then the Bugaloos, and then Lidsville. Then I had a 2 year dry up. I
Oh wow.
just could not come up, and all three networks would wait every single year, during presentation time to see what I was going to come up with.
Oh
And we
wow.
never did a pilot. And we used to do these beautiful big books with all the characters. And then I'd go in and sit on the floor, and the executives would, with my book, and and the executives would sit around in a semicircle, and I tell them the story, and
Oh
then
wow.
they buy 17 shows. But Land of the Lost, we did something like 56, I think it was. It
Oh
was
wow.
huge. It was our biggest hit.
Wow.
Okay, so what happened was a friend of mine who lived in New York, who worked for 20th Century Fox, he, very creative guy, and when he came out here, he would stay with me. And so anyway, I had a big collection. Kelly, I always forget the book. National Geographic. Yeah, my God, how could you forget that?
Right.
And he said, "Do you mind if I look through all your National Geographics? Because when I do a presentation, I do a collage." And I said, "No, help yourself." And I was standing next to him, and we were looking down at this one book that he chose, and it was all dinosaurs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And then, oh my God, we started looking through it, and there were lizards and dinosaurs, and the big hit was Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, huge hit. and gorillas and all kinds of those kinds of animals. And I said, oh my God, Alan, in 1940, my first, it was almost like a horror movie, was 1 million BC.
Raquel Welch.
No.
Is that the Raquel Welch or no?
No, that was the remake.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is 1940s.
Yeah, this is
Oh, okay.
1940. No, and Victor Mature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so anyway, and it scared the hell out of me. As a kid, I'm 10 years old. You can't we never saw a dinosaur moving.
Right.
We saw a picture maybe of a dinosaur. And it killed people and ate people. And it was really frightening. And that stuck in my mind, all through my life.
Wow.
And I said, oh my God, wait a minute. Swiss Family Robinson was also a huge hit, and maybe later, but I know it was a book because I read it. And so anyway, I said, Land of the Lost. It's a family. I don't think the mother should be there because it's too frightening for a woman, to go through that. And I came up with a father, he had a son and a daughter, because in television you try to relate to both sexes,
Okay.
Yeah, bigger ratings. And so we just, we were so excited about, like Chaka was a little monkey person,
Right. Right.
Yeah. And so anyway, that's how that whole concept started. But it was a little bit swiped from Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah.
Because they got shipwrecked. And so I thought, the dad takes his two kids, for a weekend. They were going to go on a raft ride. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were dumped over the edge.
Right.
Okay.
I gotta say that the thing I loved as a kid and as an adult rewatching the show is that it's not Gilligan's Island. It's not a circular show where it's, oh, we're gonna try to get out of Land of the Lost and oops, it's over. It's a continuous story that builds and builds and builds, so it creates a universe. Was that the intention there?
Oh yeah, well, all of our shows, I want to worry the kids how the kid that they love so much,
Yeah.
that went on that adventure, because they're on it too.
Right.
When are they going to get home? I mean, that was the question. We got tons and tons of mail. We had a special division that handled the mail, because college kids watched our shows.
Oh,
Because
wow.
to them it was like, and an acid trip on Saturday morning,
Right.
smoke a joint and watch a Krofft show. Yeah. And so anyway, and the intention was for it to be psychedelic because that was the psychedelic period.
Right.
And I always, my whole career, I tried to move with the times.
So I have a question for you about the dinosaurs and the types of puppetry and animation that brought these creatures to life. Had you done stop motion before?
No, never, never. And I'll tell you, the first show was shot on they have one sound stage at the Jim Henson, Charlie Chaplin studio.
Oh, okay.
And we only could do the first there because the sleeve stacks and you couldn't move. It was a very small stage, and
Okay.
the director freaked out and came to me and said, how there's no room to run away from them.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, no. The whole intention was that when we have a dream and someone is chasing us, it's almost in slow motion,
Mm-hmm.
and they can't grab you, but they almost do,
Right.
and that's more frightening, and we can all relate to that because everybody's had a horror nightmare dream,
Right.
and so it was really interesting. And then we moved over to another studio, and stop motion marrying. I mean, the actors are working on a blue or green screen.
Right.
It was a blue screen for us, and in front of. And what happens is you got to marry the two. The actors have to relate to a tennis ball,
Right.
or whatever it is. And it's very difficult for the actors,
Yeah.
And we only got like 56,000 an episode.
Oh, wow.
1,000. Yeah.
So beyond the shoestring.
Yeah. So today that would be probably 8 or 9 million.
Right.
Yeah. So when we finished the first show, we couldn't put the stop motion. Stop motion takes forever.
Long time.
Yeah. I mean, forever. And so we couldn't put it together. And we had engineers from all the studios come in, and we really thought, that's it. It's not going to work. Because you shoot the show on tape, and you shoot, that's on film. And so.
Oh, yeah. You have to merge the two.
Yeah. And it was like impossible. And it was the Disney engineers that made that happen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had Disney even come in.
So you had folks from Disney engineering. Some of the writers came from like
all
other
of
sci-fi.
them.
They came from different shows.
Well, what happened was Star Trek was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we got the order, we were shooting, I don't know what the hell we were shooting. It had to be Sigmund. Yeah, we were shooting Sigmund. And I heard that Roddenberry was on the next stage shooting something. I never met him.
Oh,
So
wow.
I went over, you know, and met him, and I wanted him to, you know, be the head writer, and he was overbooked with some big movie that was happening for him, and so he told me about David Gerald.
Okay.
This is real young. He's like 22, and he's brilliant. And he became the showrunner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he had done episodes of Star Trek previous, or?
Yeah. Well, he did. Uh, there was one episode of Star Trek that he did. I don't remember the name of it, but it was nominated
Oh, wow.
for an Emmy. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that because this show is very sci-fi, very adventure heavy, and never really super silly.
And I got to tell you something very intense. The
Very
script,
intense.
yeah, the scripts were like written for adults,
Right.
little kids. Come on. That's what blew me totally away.
Yeah.
That little kids understood. Don't
Never underestimate it.
No, a little kid.
They're very sophisticated, you know.
Yeah, they're brilliant. And so, wow, no, they couldn't wait for each episode, you know,
Yeah.
and understood it. But that's even Puffin stuff. You know, I didn't want it to be Ring Around the Rosie or any of those shows.
Right.
They're just because in those days, the parents sat next
Right.
to the kids, and you know, and spent Saturday morning with them. And when your dad or mom, you know, laughs, you laugh with them. They didn't,
Right.
maybe they didn't understand the jokes, but you know,
They knew it was funny.
yeah, yeah. And then years later, when they grew up, you know, when I met so many of them, you know, God, they remembered the characters, every detail, taking it away with them for like, you know, 50 years.
Easily 50 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll let you get your drink there. So tell me, we all know the dinosaurs, you know, Grumpy and Dopey, which are named after famous dwarves that we know about. The Sleestack are the standout scary people in the show. Who designed those characters, and how did that come about?
That was Michael Westmore. He made them out of wetsuits.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, come on, you're working on a dime, you know. Yeah. And he built those heads. He's the famous makeup.
Okay.
You know, Michael Westmore did, oh God, so many Academy Award movies
Oh,
before
wow.
he did Land of the Lost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quality makeup. The whole bodysuit thing is super scary.
What about Chaka too?
Taka's amazing, and his brothers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the makeup is incredible. You know, it would take, I think, every day 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
put
The
them.
lang- the language Chaka spoke, I read that was you brought a linguist in.
Yeah, from UCLA.
Wow. So it was based on a real language.
Yeah. Well, she created it. Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. So you had all people from all walks coming into work on
Well,
this show.
because we had a horseshoe up our you know what, because the timing couldn't have been greater, you
Right.
know, and because I only give them so much information, then you got to bring in the writers, you know,
Right.
and then they've got all the information, what's in my mind, and then they go from there and use their own because they are creative people. We had huge, oh my God. I mean, they were like the biggest in town. And again, we had no budget, you know, but they were so fascinated with the project. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah. And of course, when it becomes a hit, you know, you're proud of
Right.
what.
It seems like you assembled an amazing team, and that you can see the love of in the product. You know, people cared about what we were being shown. Well, I think we're gonna say goodbye for Land of the Lost right here. But is there anything you want to say to the audience out there about the show and about just anything you want to say as we?
I thank everybody out there. And I'm still here. You can't knock me off with a baseball bat. Yeah.
All right. Well, say goodbye, everyone.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. And thank you.